Greetings and salutations to all you folks out there. It has been a very, very long time since I've done two casts in the same day, but I figured I owed it to you guys since I missed Monday. My casts have been slightly irregular the last couple of weeks. Holidays, severe technical difficulties. I'm not going to sit here and list off a ton of excuses because I'm sure you don't want to hear exactly about all of them. I've told you about some of them in the past, but I did feel kind of bad about my irregular attendance, so here you go, a little bit of extra entertainment to hopefully convince you to forgive me. This is going to be a 1 versus 1 on the Crimson Feud. It's going to be between Commander Adama on the bottom left. I do love Battlestar Galactica, great TV show, the new series anyway. I never really got into the older series. I watched a couple episodes of it and it was not my cup of tea. And then on the top right, the Kappa. He is going Seraphim, Adama going UEF. So we're going to see how this battle plays out. Crimson Feud, technically a 2 versus 2 map, but quite popular in the 1 versus 1 circles. Also kind of hated, but I think that goes for any map. There is small piles of reclaim here, there, and in a couple of places in the spawn. Looks like Adama is going to take the initiative as far as harassment goes. He is going to front 2 labs. Looks like we're trying to preempt a Hydro expansion there. Also to kill an engineer that is reclaiming, or maybe reclaiming. We're going to have a bypass right here. That lab is going to run straight by the Tham, kill the scout, and then break off to the left. We've got an engineer kill on that lab right before the ACU blasts its head off. So Commander Adama is actually looking pretty good right here. He got a couple of early unit kills that did a little tiny bit of damage. Killing the scout is going to leave that Tham a little bit more susceptible, and killing the engineer up here, but not really too much. Kappa is going to kill off that unit there with a bomber, which is then going to head down south. Commander Adama does not have an air factory, and actually it doesn't look like he's planning an air factory. That engineer is going to get wiped out by that bomber. Kappa is going to move back around and survey what he made damage. A tank and a scout up here we're going to have to keep an eye on and see what it does. Kappa's just going to town with that bomber, killing nothing actually. There was not a kill there. That was a missed bomb, I hate to say it. Coming back around for the engineer, going to succeed that time, but there is yet another engineer waiting to pick up the slack left by its fallen comrade on the ground. And bomber's going to hit there. Anti-air coming in, and a mutual kill. Anti-air kills the bomber, and then the bomb that was already dropped kills the anti-air. So that takes care of both of those problems. Adama can reclaim the wreck down there, and he will be just absolutely fine. Snoop is going to lay down some damage on this Tham, and actually that is quite handy. Even if he doesn't completely kill the Tham, the tank will win. The Striker will win versus the Tham now that the health has been whittled down. And now we have another bomber from the Kappa. There is stationary and mobile anti-air in place, but he is going to keep hammering this right side expansion. I don't know why Commander Adama is not building an air factory. He is in stubborn denial right now. He's taken a trip to Egypt and taken his swim trunks, and he is just flat out refusing to build that air factory and is getting just taken apart by a handful of bombers. You can see all the wrecks down here that the thing has killed. And another Tech 1 bomber. Why? Why are you doing this to yourself? 4 engineers going down and breaking my voice in the process, but there is a Tech 2 factory on the way. Here comes another Tech 1 bomber. You know what? I would be doing the exact same thing that the Kappa is doing right now. If the guy is not going to build an air factory, I would keep throwing Tech 1 bombers, because that forces him to build more anti-air emplacements. And this is starting to look kind of like a strategic facepalm game. I almost wish I would have casted it as something different. We'll have to see how it turns out as the game progresses. Another Tech 1 bomber. It is going to kill the power, which is going to kill that mass extractor. So, my goodness, this is starting to look a little hilarious. Kappa is going to hit this expansion? Maybe, yes, no, tentatively kind of sneaking his nose in that direction. And backup comes in, so we're going to see that move in. That expansion is going to go down, as well as the southern one. Kappa acing the map control and continuing to throw Tech 1 bombers this way. I think Commander Adama was hoping for a strong early land build and then to rush Tech 2 and overwhelm an already pressured opponent with just overwhelming strength. That was repetitively redundant. I will have to find another word for overwhelm. I need to cast with a Thesaurus open. That would make my day. I love using different, varied, interesting words to describe situations. Yeah, but the problem was when his plan started going south, he bullheadedly refused to deviate, and now he is reaping the consequences of not adjusting his build to the problem at hand, because he is about to have a whole lot of tanks in his base. And yes, there is a point defense over here, but that 1 point defense is not going to be enough to prevent some damage happening down here. There are 3 pillars, but there's 1 Ilsheva and a couple of strikers. Question is, can the strikers take out the Ilsheva before the Ilsheva takes out them? And I think the answer is actually no. Holy kashmolis, that Ilsheva survived with 61 health. And out there, it finally died. 3 more bombers coming in. I'm going to hit this. When you've got the power generators around it, that is just layering the damage. He's built that stationary anti-air that's been there for quite a while, actually. And that is slowly pegging the bombers, but not before the bombers drop their bombs. He should build an anti-air out here somewhere that would help prevent the bombers as they are incoming. And this is actually getting kind of depressing to watch. This is terrible. This is a 15... yeah, Commander Adama is rated higher than that. This is a 1590 something player versus a 1215, and he is getting schooled. I really don't understand how he could let this happen to himself. Alright, his only hope is to play defensively and win the Reclaim War, which actually Kappa is 500 ahead of him in Reclaim, 600 ahead of him in Reclaim, and counting. His only hope is to reclaim what has been dropped on his doorstep and to throw it back in Kappa's face. There is a Tech 2 point defense online in the middle of the field. No idea why on earth he would build a Tech 2 point defense when his main problem is air, but he does finally have an air factory online, and he's built 3 interceptors, which is almost as much as the Kappa's built, because the Kappa built a handful of interceptors and then just started building only bombers when he realized that there were no interceptors coming from the other side. So very well played by Kappa. I am impressed. Well, I am impressed at you exploiting the lack of play from the other guy, which is good play in its own right. Don't get me wrong. Commander Adama is not looking healthy. I am amazed that he has lived this long, but it looks like he has not long left for this world. Question is, there we go. There's a shield. And a vet. So he's now got 5,000 health and an overshield. Kappa's going to stop, lay claim to this reclaim field, and going to content himself with the mass at hand. He is still rolling Ilshevas out on a fairly grand scale. It looks like he's got 1 HQ and 1 support. HQ is pretty heavily assisted. I'm going to have to see how that works out for him. Got 3 Ilshevas moving here. Commander Adama down in the red again and not able to overcharge those. Not sure what's going on there. He is just shy of power stalled. Kappa is mass stalled with plus power, which is about where you want to be. Maybe a little less mass stalled than that, but if you're reclaiming like a madman, it will all work out okay. And let's see. We're going to go ahead and bump the speed up just a little bit here because we're kind of starting to fall into a stalemate pattern. We've got the guys poking and prodding at each other around the outside edges, but not a whole lot huge happening. Excuse me. See, we've got some pillars and shields mixed down here. I do like the UEF shields. They are very nicely sized and relatively inexpensive as far as how much HP they give you. Aeons are better, yes, but I do like the UEF shields. They're a handy dandy thing to have with you, and it's basically a free overcharge. ACU can overcharge a shield. It won't damage the units inside the shield, and it gives you that extra health to burn through because the overcharge is technically a projectile, so the shield does stop it. And that looked like a tac missile. That was a tac missile. What do you know? My eyeballs are not deceiving me for once. That was a launch down here, but there was a tac defense online that took it down fairly easily, so that is not a problem. Even the buzzkill does occasionally get things right. Gonna have this one firing over here. Oh, that was almost finished on time, but not quite. We've got Ilshivas versus not Percivals versus Pillars. And you might say, oh, the numbers look the same, but as I've discussed in other casts, you have to look at mass to mass comparisons, not number to number comparisons. And Ilshivas cost far more than Pillars do. So if you have a group of 10 Ilshivas versus a group of 10 Pillars, the Ilshivas will win every single time because they cost significantly more mass and therefore perform significantly better. Let's see. We got T2 power going up for Commander Adama. I am suffering from a severe oxygen deprivation once again. I don't understand why this keeps happening. We've got 13, almost 14,000 reclaim for the Kappa, 10,000 reclaim, not quite 11, for Commander Adama. But at the rate that Kappa is dumping mass on Adama's doorstep, Adama should overtake Kappa in reclaim at some point. Also, Kappa has pretty dang close to 90% map control. He's got both of the expansions. He's got the middle. He owns pretty much everything except the plateaus and Commander Adama's home base. Adama is going to expose his ACU for the chance to get an overcharge, which is actually going to work out pretty well for him. He was able to kill off a couple of clumps of Ilshivas. Those were forced to retreat, and then he's going to calmly begin building tac missile defense once again. And that's kind of one of those things, you can't spam tac defense. You will always lose to mobile missile launcher spam, mass for mass. The TMD is much less efficient than the MMLs are. So it would actually be kind of cool to see the Kappa start spamming the ever-living daylights out of flapjacks. Wait, is that what they're called? No, that's not UEF. These are Ethisa, or whatever you call those. Seraphim has very strange names. Sometimes I wonder why I even tried to pronounce them. We've got Ilshivas killing off this Tech 2 mechs, and Commander Adama was able to take the northern expansion against pretty much no defenses whatsoever. With his group of 5 pillars, those are going to move around to the northern side and try to break into the base here, but a couple of Ilshivas in the ACU are going to put a quick end to that little scheme. And then on the southern half of the map, we've got a couple of Tech 3 mobile artillery. Kappa decided not to go with the mobile missile launcher spam. He is just going to dive straight into the Tech 3 mobile artillery, and that is going to do a pretty dang good job as a base breaker. And what have we here? There is a little transport running around the bottom side of my screen. That would be an awful awesome. And it is actually going to do a pretty significant amount of damage down here, but it needs to... Oh, that was depressing. Right as I'm saying it's going to do a significant amount of damage, I guess I jinxed it, because it didn't even kill the tac missile launcher there. It killed a couple of point defense and then died to T1PD right there. Kappa, you broke my heart. You failed me. Why? Why would you throw away a unit like that? Could have run around the back. That was so sad. Why you do this? All right, got Othams fronting for... Well, no. Tech 3 mobile artillery is dead. There are Percivals on the field. Those are going to quickly outpace the Othams as a useful unit. To counter the Percivals as a Seraphim player, you need to build mobile shields and snipers. That's right, you need the sniper boats. And we've got a Tech 2 bomber, quote-unquote, snipe. I'm making air quotes right here because you really can't snipe an ACU this late in the game with 2 Tech 2 bombers. It just doesn't work. And another one coming in. Blind shot, taking out that shield. Actually, that was not the worst thing that I've ever seen in the world. That was a pretty good use of a bomb. If you're only going to get one, make it count, right? Tech 1 point defense going up all over the place down here, trying to stem the incoming tide of units. They were successful on this side, and they were successful with the drop, so I guess that is a good strategy to employ. Kappa is going to push forward with his units. I don't know that that is an incredibly wise thing to do. There's a whole lot of Tech 1 point defense here. Kappa's getting dangerously low on health and running back 4,000, 2,000, 3, continuing to take hits. And it looks like he's going to be good. He almost threw the game away right there. And he's mostly lost his map control too. Percivals are over here getting hit by a Tech 2 bomber. That is the one thing that sucks playing versus UEF, because you have to acknowledge the fact that eventually UEF is going to win if you do not kill them soon enough. UEF just gets stronger and stronger as the game goes on. Looks like we've got mobile missile launchers being used by Commander Adama now as a denial tool. We saw those launching just a little bit earlier. And the TAC launcher on the Kappa side is still going crazy. But there are plenty of defenses in the base, so I think everything will be fine. This is kind of turning into a turtle war, which is slightly disappointing on this map. Generally, you don't see that kind of thing on Crimson Feud. And it looks like Kappa is going to push again. He does have the gun upgrade, he has nano regen, and he has a whole lot of Tech 3 units with him. Question is, does he have enough to break that? I don't know. I have a hard time saying. There's a lot of Tech 3 tanks there. There really are. And he's going to make a wise choice here. He's going to send them around the southern side. Not a direct full frontal attack. So that is a good thing to do. Looks like he's still building some Ilshivas, though. He's going to move those around to the north and secure that expansion. Alright, the March of the Othams has started. Well, I guess the Othams are rolling in, I should say. They do not actually have legs, but there are Ilshivas there. Yes, Ilshivas. So those are actually going to march. I was partially correct. Going for the T3 power generator. If they can kill that, that's going to be a hard loss for Commander Adama to swallow. Killing the Tech 2 power gens as well. He's down to 800, 300 power, minus 1k. Holy cow. Ugh. Now, Kappa is saying that mass gift, though, lol. He did donate a lot of mass, but honestly, in this circumstance, that's almost worth it. Because Commander Adama literally had to shut down everything that he had because he had no power at all. So you can see he's actually filling his mass bar. He's not going to be able to fully employ this reclaim for another probably minute and a half to 2 minutes before he can even begin dipping into it. And he's getting his T3 gen up, like I said, about 2 minutes. So probably about the 39-minute mark, he's actually going to be able to make use of that reclaim. But the Kappa does not look like he is really going to take advantage of the situation. He doesn't have a whole lot of units on the field because his mass is going towards, you guessed it, a Yathatha. Honestly, I think if he had kept building Tech 3 units instead of building this Yathatha, he probably could have won that right there. Because there was so much damage done. All the shields were down. All of the production was down. Everything was down. If he had just maintained his own unit production and pushed another horde of units through, he probably could have crushed it right then and there. But now we've got shields, we've got power going up. Everything is looking fine for Commander Adama, and he has this huge steaming pile of wrecks that was previously an armada of yeah, I'm getting my words mixed up. An armada of Othams. That is hard to say. That should be a new tongue twister. Everyone should try to say it 10 times fast. Armada of Othams. Armada of Othams. Armada of... I can't even say it 3 times. Alright. Kappa gonna back his ACU up just a little bit, and we're gonna see a bullheaded rush directly into the base from this chicken. And as I say that, he stops and starts hammering the base. And there's the ACU coming under fire, and kind of an anticlimactic finish there. T4 takes the kill. So that is Commander Adama going under to the Kappa. And I gotta say, that entire game was handed to the Kappa in the form of no air. Commander Adama, I don't understand why you refuse to build air. I really don't. But the Tech 1 Air Factory would have been well worth the mass if you had just invested in it. Alrighty guys, that is going to wrap up this game. Hopefully there were some lessons to learn in that one. Not the most thrilling game I've ever casted, but there was a lot of solid things to learn in that game. What to do, what don't to do, that kind of thing. So, hopefully you enjoyed it regardless. I know I did. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Maybe next time I won't trip over my own tongue. See you guys.